So I'll get started. My name is Lyndon Bystrom. I manage our customer success team here. I've been at Follow Up Boss for just short of 5 years. I like to say that because I've always been in a customer-facing role the entire time I've been here. So I have had probably thousands and thousands of client interactions with people just like yourself. I see what works every single day. I see what works every single day. What are teams, what are users doing that really kind of takes them to the next level? I see it, and to be completely honest, I see a little bit of what doesn't work as well, right? What's that sticking point? What's getting people to be hung up a little bit? Those are things that I've seen over the last 5 years. Before Follow Up Boss, I worked at Zillow for 4 years, and I really mastered kind of the art of lead conversion. I coached the Zillow agents how to turn a Zillow lead into an actual appointment, and now I'm able to kind of transport that into working at Follow Up Boss, taking those leads, categorizing them, getting the correct database, so you always know exactly who you need to follow up with. So those are all things that I want to deliver to you guys today as we have this awesome breakout session. So thank you for coming. Who's having an awesome time here at FUBCON? Exactly, right? Who here is taking all this information, all this stuff is being thrown at you. You're hearing automations, people are talking integrations, smart lists, action plans, all this stuff, team account. Oh my gosh, there's so much going on. Holy smokes, what are we going to do? And then you're going to go home. You're going to sit down, you're going to get to your computer home, maybe on the flight back, and you're going to open your Follow Up Boss account, and you're going to let's do this. And then you're going to say, what am I doing? Where do I begin, right? Where do I go? And then if you're like me, you're going to see like a squirrel and just, whoa, squirrel, right? And then you're out the door and you're doing something else, right? So the whole point of today and my presentation that I want to give you guys today is you're going to leave here with really simple action items. This is what I need to do when I go home, okay? So you can take all of this other outside awesome information that you're getting and apply it as you continue to grow your knowledge of Follow Up Boss. So there's 3 things that we're going to chat through as I demo. The first one, admin lead flow. In order for you to master and be able to unleash the full potential of your Follow Up Boss account, you must know exactly what's going on your lead flow. What is your lead flow? That's your online lead generation. So if you're generating online leads, know what's happening, right? Maybe you're just a user on your account and you know that your team's generating leads. Well, what leads are getting assigned to you? You can ask your admin, right? How is that working? Because there's multiple ways that people on your team can be assigned leads. You've got to know exactly, even if you're an admin or owner, what's happening with those leads. Who are we assigning those to? Do I want those leads to be assigned to me? Am I overwhelmed? Can I not handle all of these leads that are coming? Well, good news. Your lead flow section can help distribute those leads to your agents at the right time. Master your lead flow. Understand action plans from your lead flow. Those are automatic text messages that can go out. Those are automatic emails. Those are tasks that can be applied to leads. What's happening when you generate a new lead? If you don't know that, master your lead flow and know exactly what's happening when you get a brand new lead. That's step number 1. Master those new leads, those leads that haven't come in yet, those leads that you're going to generate tomorrow, the next day. Next one, you've all heard it. I've heard it a lot this week, smart lists. And I know all of you have probably heard smart list 0, right? Smart list 0, that's a common thing that you hear. I think a lot of times we say that and people say, what the heck does that mean? Smart list 0, everybody's talking about smart list 0, smart list 0. Master your smart lists. Smart lists allow you to know exactly who I need to communicate with right now. They're doing the work for you. They're doing the work if you're a team lead, they're doing the work for your agents. So you know who's following up at the right time. The way it works, smart lists, I'm highlighting them right here. These are, I don't have my mouse, but these top lists here are your smart lists. Know what happens when a lead goes into a smart list. As everyone keeps talking about smart list 0, this is what they mean. Last communication filter. Okay, so this list right here that I have clicked on is a smart list with all my leads in the warm stage, but it's not all my warm leads. It's all of my warm leads that have not seen communication in 14 days. So I'm not waiting for my leads to populate here. I'm not looking for my warm leads. Only leads that are populating that are due for communication are populating this list. That's step number 2. Smart lists. Master your smart lists, right? Learn them. Make sure your agents know exactly what's happening when a lead goes into a smart list. Once they do that, the guesswork's done. If you have questions on how to create a smart list, Check out our success team. There's plenty in here. If you have questions on how to create a smart list so it goes to 0, ask us. We're here to help. We're here to help. The third one, and this is what we're going to spend the majority of today on, stages. Show of hands, who was able to find out how many stages are in the lead stage? And my exercise we had earlier. Show of hands. Who knows exactly how many leads are in your lead stage? It's a pretty small number. I was hoping for more. So basically, all of you are saying you don't know. There's a lot of people here that didn't raise your hands. You don't know how many leads are in your lead stage. That's the answer, guys. So keep your hands up. Sorry, keep your hands up for those of you that did find it. Keep your hands up if you have less than 500 leads in the lead stage. Keep your hands up. Oh, we're losing them. Hands are going down. Keep your hands up if you have less than 200 leads in the lead stage. Oh, we still got a few more. Keep your hands up if you have less than 50. 2, 3. Keep your hands up if you have 0. 4 people have 0 leads in the lead stage. Can you guys come up here and teach this class? Because that's exactly what we want. Those people, those 4 people out of everyone in this room has defined their database. If you have not defined your database, that's what stages are. It's categorizing your leads. If you have not defined your database, you will always be fighting an uphill battle of who to follow up with. You will never be able to master your lead nurturing if you've got 500, 1,000, 2,000 leads in the lead stage, because guess what's happening? Tomorrow you're going to generate a new lead. It's going to come in, it's going to go to the lead stage. If all these leads are in the lead stage, use an action plan. You heard this awesome action plan earlier this week. Someone told you, oh my gosh, I got this killer action plan. You got to apply it to your leads. What leads? I don't know. Everybody's in the lead stage. How can I? I don't know what leads to put them on. Trigger an automation for your leads if they're all in the lead stage. I don't know. Trigger what automation? Trigger what action plan? So what we're going to do the rest of today and the rest of this session, let's settle this debate of stages. Everyone's always like, how many stages should I have? Right? What's the definition? How should I define my stages? We're going to do it right now. So I went to admin stages. You have to be in your owner's account to be able to view this section. So a great conversation if you're not an owner to go to your owner and say, hey, what are my stages? How many do we have? Et cetera, et cetera. So right here, you'll see, and I know, so I apologize for those in the back of the room that can't see this. We have lead, hot, warm, nurture. These are all basically, this account has just gone in and changed. The way that you define your stages, because what we're showing right here, hot, 0 to 3 months is what I always see. That's what we're going to start getting away from. Because if you're defining your stages 0 to 3 months, I don't know when to follow up with this person that's in the hot stage or 0 to 3 months. What does that mean? Do I call them today? Do I call them tomorrow? When do I call them? If I'm defining my stage warm, nurture, 6+ months, timeline to when they're looking to transact, I don't know what that means. I can't utilize my smart list to tell me when I need to call someone because they're 6+ months. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. So the way that you define your stages, I'm going to pause there because this is super important. The way you define your stages is you define your stage by how often you communicate with leads that are in that stage. Say it with me. You define your stage by how often you communicate with leads that are in that stage. Nobody said that with me. You define your stage by how often you communicate with leads in that stage. That is your definition. You can hold your team accountable if you have that definition on your leads. Okay? Let's do this. Lead stage, right? Let's add a stage. Let's just go through, we're going to build your stages right here, okay? Everyone wants to know, what should I be doing? What should I be doing? What should my stages? We're just going to do it right now. So I'm going to give one here. I'm going to add a stage. This isn't in your normal default. This is one that I've seen, right? What are other people doing? I'm going to add a stage to this list right here. We're going to talk about it as we go through our stages. Attempted contact. That's the first stage that I want you. It's hard to type when you know a lot of people are looking at your typing. The first stage that I want you all to add is attempted contact, right? Let's talk about the definition and what happens with an attempted contact. Brand new lead comes in, online generated lead. Why is this not? Oh, it was going so well and now it's not adding. Yeah, what is? There it is. Attempted contact. Okay, brand new lead comes in, online generated lead. Maybe someone you met at the coffee house the other day, right? Happy hour, Zillow lead, whatever, website lead. Okay, attempted contact. Get the lead out of the lead stage. Remember, that's what we're doing when we leave here. All of you are gonna have no leads in the lead stage when you get home, right? We're gonna move all those leads out and get them under the correct stage. So a brand new lead comes in, what happens? You either get a hold of them or you don't get a hold of them. If you don't get a hold of them, you move them to the attempted contact stage. What's the definition of attempted contact? Someone I didn't get a hold of? No. Timeline. What's the timeline to how often I communicate with them? Attempted contact, call, text, email every single day. What are you trying to do? Get them out of the attempted contact stage, right? Attempted contact definition, call, text, email every single day until you get a hold of them. Maybe after you tell your team you can give up on a lead 14, 21 days, whatever, maybe that's someone okay, then we move them on to a different stage, but call, text, email every single day, right? What's next? What's possibility? Maybe we get a hold of them, right? And they're a hot lead, right? So we're gonna get rid of hot 0 to 3 months, and we're gonna define it. It's not 0 to 3 months, it's based on that conversation, how often you wanna communicate with that person. Based on that conversation, how often you want to communicate with them. Let's say 3 days. That's your definition of a hot lead. Someone I want to speak to every 3 days. If you don't feel communication is necessary every 3 days, it's not a hot lead because it doesn't fit that definition, right? See how we're getting away from that 0 to 3 month type time frame? So then nurture, or maybe warm. Let's get rid of the 3 to 6 months here. And let's say that warm is, I don't know, every 14 days? You guys can come up with your time periods here. You probably know your leads a little bit better, but we'll say warm every 14 days. Based on your conversation, if you don't feel communication is necessary every 14 days, it's not a warm lead. What are you trying to do as you nurture your warm leads now? You're trying to get them to the hot stage. You spoke to them, I need to increase my communication. Because I need to increase my communication, I'm gonna move them to the hot stage. Is this helping right now? I'm seeing a bunch of like, oh boy, okay, oh gosh, you know, you guys are freaking me out here. Nurture. I mean, this is a deep dive. This is what we're doing, guys. We're deep diving into your account here. So nurture, we're gonna get rid of the 6+ months, right? 30 days, that's your definition. Someone we need to communicate with every 30 days. Now you're getting into these nurture and warm leads a little bit, right? Okay, maybe it's because our communication isn't gonna be as frequent. Well, gosh, wouldn't it be nice if I have a nurture action plan that can kind of complement this? I'm not communicating with my nurture leads as much. We're in the thick of things with our hot leads. That's all we have time for. Well, great, let's apply an action plan to our nurture leads now. Remember, you can't do that if everybody was in the lead stage. So now that killer action plan that you heard or you spoke to at dinner with someone else the other night, great, now I know what leads need that action plan. I'm gonna give you one stage that just goes against everything I just said, sorry about that. Active client, right? That's your one stage where there's no timeline. Because active client's active client. You're probably talking to them right now, you have to do something for them tomorrow. That's not a lead nurturing stage per se, but what are you trying to do? You're trying to get all your leads from your other stages into that active client stage. So that's the one stage that does not require the time period, active client. And if you guys are having trouble kind of remembering who to stay with active client, oh gosh, okay. That's next year's deep dive. Closed, past client, what's the difference, right? Close stage, that's you're going through the closing process. You have a checklist for them right now. Okay, you're gonna go through the closing process, right? You're gonna ask for your referrals, you're gonna send them their gift, et cetera, et cetera. After you go through the closing process with the closed stage, we're moving them to past client. What's the definition of a past client? It's not someone you sold a home to, because that goes against everything we just said. Timeline, right? I get it. A past client stage is someone that you did sell a home to, but the definition is, because we have to apply a timeline, 90 days, 120 days. How often do you want to be communicating with your past clients, right? So that's your definition. So now it's very easy to pull up your smart list and say, where's all my past clients? But I don't want all my past clients. I want all my past clients that haven't seen communication in 120 days to appear. Boom, there's your list of 2 people. Make that communication and you're moving on with your day. I like to do this, past client and sphere, right? I like to get rid of this sphere one right here, and I like to add it to SOI, excuse me. I like to combine my past client and sphere stage because it's the same thing, right? You're probably communicating with your sphere the same amount. You're sending out birthday cards, right? You're probably including them in some newsletter emails that you might have. So past client and SOI, those are the same things. Those are the exact same things. What are you trying to do? Again, you're getting them out of these stages, moving them to nurture, warm, cold, because they're back in the market. And then once you do that, you're going to apply the tag. Okay? So now a past client is no longer in the past client stage because they're back in the market. Now I'm going to put the past client tag or SOI tag on that lead, and now they're hot because now they fit my timeline of hot stages. Trash is trash. Timeline, there is no timeline. We don't touch them, right? We're done with them. Whatever. Terrible lead, website lead, whatever it might be. Unresponsive. There's a timeline to unresponsive. Maybe it's a batch email once a year. All those new website leads that you tried for 14 days because you had them in the attempted contact stage, you never got a hold of them. Great, we throw them to the unresponsive stage. Our definition of unresponsive is how often do you want to, what do we have? What other kind of marketing channels do we have for our unresponsive? That's it. That's a mouthful. I think that might be time for questions. Actually, let me say one more thing here. One more thing. People always ask me the question, tags, stages, what's the difference, right? Buyer, seller. Should I have a buyer stage, seller stage? No, right? Those are tags. Because buyer and seller, there's no difference to how often you communicate. So with that said, 3 things. What are we doing? What are we doing when we leave here, right? Master your lead flow. Master your lead flow. Master your smart list. If you're having trouble understanding how to create smart lists, apply that last communication filter. Last communication filter, last communication filter. That is key. If you're having trouble, reach out. We want to help you with that. And then the third thing that you leave here, as soon as you get home, you've got to get your leads out of the lead stage. That's it. That's what you're doing when you get there. Right? There's easy ways to do it from your people. If you have 5,000 leads, maybe you just move all 5,000 of those leads to another stage, whatever it might be. Get them out of the lead stage so you can really focus on those new leads coming in. Don't let those 5,000 sitting there kind of hang you up. Where am I going, right? Get everybody out of the lead stage. Thanks, guys. Hope that helped. Thank you.
So you're saying when there's a lead that comes into the database and you do an attempted contact, what is your suggestion for someone that you get on the phone real quick, but they don't have time to talk and they say, call me back or something like that?
It follows a definition. If they say, call me back in 3 days, you move them to a hot prospect, right? Because now they're following the definition of hot. If you after that conversation, you're like, I need to call this person tomorrow, you don't have to set a whole bunch of tasks, call, right? Those tasks get overwhelming. So you just move them. My definition of attempted contact, they said call tomorrow. I didn't really get a hold of them. I didn't have a conversation. They said call tomorrow. They're staying in the attempted contact stage because therefore they're going to populate my smart list tomorrow of the people that I need to call today. It's all based on. I would, yeah, that's a good, can we get a mic on that? I guess the question was, would you put a task on that? Would you put a task on that? I love that question because this is the way I think about it. Use your smart list for lead nurturing. Right? Use your smart list for lead nurturing, creating conversations, getting a hold of people, right? Getting those people turned into actual clients. If you're using tasks for lead nurturing, which was your question, right? It gets overwhelming. Next thing you know, you've got 50, 100 tasks of all these people that you have no idea who in the world they are, and you quit doing those tasks, right? And you go down this list of tasks, and what am I saying? Who should I be? What am I saying? It's really hard to form your scripting in that situation too. I got a bunch of tasks. Someone's here, someone's there. No, I'm going to use my smart list because now I've got a list of 20 people in the attempted contact. This is what I say for people in the attempted contact. So no, I would not use a task for lead nurturing, someone I haven't got a hold of. I use my smart lists. My tasks are for I spoke to that person. I have to do this tomorrow. I have to set up an inspection. I have to, photography, whatever, right? That's what tasks are for. Keep your tasks minimum so you actually do them, right? Because I can't tell you how many tasks I've seen, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of overdue tasks because we're using tasks for lead nurturing. Tasks are not for lead nurturing. Smart lists are for lead nurturing. Sorry, I'm really good at giving long-winded answers, so I hope that wasn't. Okay, yes.
Hey there, we are a Zillow Flex partner.
Yes.
And so that causes some challenges with the stages. Do you have any, can you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, I knew that question was coming, and definitely Zillow Flex is a little bit, right? For anyone who is Zillow Flex in here, you have your stages. If you have the two-way sync integration hooked up, you have to use those stages. I completely understand. The theory is the same, right? I could have called these stages apples or oranges here. It didn't matter, right? Hot, warm, cold, apples, oranges, whatever, butterflies, right? So Zillow has different stage names, but what are you doing? You're still making sure that you're following that plan of attack for every lead in those stages. And your agents need to know this is exactly what we do for that Zillow stage. So it's the same thing, just different words.
Sorry, on that Flexi, could you create a separate smart list for the Zillow one?
You could. I've seen that. Yes. The question was for Zillow Flex Leads, different smart lists. Yes, I've seen that. I've also seen you haven't. So, but I do say that works well.
Sorry, because our biggest thing is that those Flex leads aren't showing up in our other smart lists. They'll have you don't have a tag, it's only on the stage, right?
Yeah, I don't. This is where you spend time with your success manager, right? What's your strategy? How many users? I would really recommend just reach out to your team and using what I just gave you here and applying that to your Zillow Flex Leads, because it's the same.
The big take on that when it comes to Zillow is exactly what you're speaking to. If you have your stages defined like he's outlining here, then you decide what's your strategy. Zillow requires a certain strategy for you all in order to get a quality and quantity of leads. So that attempted contact, that spoke with customer, that's a once a week thing. So plugging that into your smart lists with your strategy, because they are defined like he's outlining here. So that's one of those pieces. That's kind of the big takeaway that I take when we're talking about teams with that. But definitely work with your success manager. I think we've got time for one more question.
Okay,
So.
cool.
This is still on the Zillow Flex thing. I know, so if it's a Zillow Flex lead and you open up those stages, it only shows the Zillow Flex stages. Is there a way for non-Zillow Flex to not show the Zillow Flex stages?
No. If you have that two-way sync, then they are gonna show. We got time for one more, because.
Thanks. So, sorry, I'm very basic here. I feel really guilty for taking up everyone's time, but I would love to know about your tags, because you're talking about buyer and seller. I've been putting it I do geographic farms.
Yeah.
And I know I have farming, and I put it according to the location. So I'm wondering, how do you do your tags?
That's exactly what I'm using my tags for your example, buyer, seller. Those are tags, those aren't stages, right? Tags are locations, tags are zip codes, tags are whatever, waterfront property. Those are tags, because the way I can utilize my tag is, I need to pull up, all right, I got this new listing and whatever in the 90210 zip code, I'm gonna pull up all of my all my leads in the hot stage with the 90210 zip with tag on it, right? Great, now we can go ahead and start really kind of nurturing those leads or blasting out those leads. So stages, if you cannot put a timeline on it, if you cannot put a timeline, buyer and seller, you can't put a timeline on that, right? So that's a tag. You cannot put a timeline on a zip code. If you can't put a timeline on it, it's a tag. If you can put a timeline on it, it's a stage to how often you communicate. Okay. Thank you, everyone.